Once upon a time, in a village far away, there lived an old king and his three beautiful, lovely, I think they were blonde, daughter princesses. Now, the daughter princesses and the old king lived in a wonderful village. It was a lot like Camelot before all that infidelity, and that other story, Much Ado About Nothing, I think Shakespeare wrote it, where nobody has a job, and they go to parties and festivals all day long, and by the end of the story, everybody has a working relationship. Except if you went to the movies, Keanu Reeves doesn't. Now, the thing about this village is everyone was happy. The children were happy, the peasants were happy, the farmers were happy, the teenagers, the wheat was happy, the corn was happy, the cows were happy, the ducklings were happy. In fact, the village was so happy that they made way for ducklings. In fact, everyone was so happy, even the soybeans were happy. Oh, and the other thing is they had the most rocking town musician ever. Now, the thing about this village, though, which is true in life, no matter how much Botox we use, is that you cannot stop age. And the village could not stop age either. And the king was getting older. And he was going to pass on. He was going to go to that great big castle in the sky. He was going to, the word that we're so scared to use here in America, die. So he was concerned because he had no sons, which he saw as a problem. I don't. But I'm a storyteller. And so he decided that he needed to call his three daughters in to figure out which of the three daughter princesses was going to be queen. So he called them into his chambers. Daughters, come. Now the daughter princesses were out doing lovely princess things. I understand that. I often do lovely princess things as well. And they heard their mother, and they decided to come in and listen to him because they're very obedient. Yes, Daddy. Daughters, I grow old and will one day pass on to the great castle in the sky. And I need to know which of you three loves me the most. Now, personally, on a psychological standpoint, I think that is one of the worst questions you can ever ask your child. And again, I'm just a storyteller. So he looked at his first daughter, and she went on later to become a porn star. Daddy, I love you as much as all the jewels in this kingdom and 7 kingdoms beyond. And the king went, very onomatopoetic this king was. And then he looked at the middle daughter. Now, we all know middle child syndrome. I especially know it. That came on me, that here I am. So anyway, he looked at her and she was like, okay, he's finally going to notice me. I'm going to really think about this. And she was smart, a lot like Katy and Charlie's Angels, you know what I mean? And so she was like thinking, and she thought, and then she was like, Dad, I love you as much as all the oil in the Middle East, and we know it's going up to $4 in California. Yeah! And he said, nice. He didn't actually say a word. Nice, daughter. And she said, yes, he noticed me, he saw me. Well, she said that to her therapist. And then he looked at the youngest daughter. her, the maidens loved her, but were jealous because she was so beautiful. She could eat anything and not gain a pound. She was a lot like those Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, that go, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, and between you and me, our secret, the father loved her the most. So he was waiting. Now, she's a very grounded child. And she looked and she said, Dad, I love you as much as I love salt. Salt! Salt! You love me as much as mere table salt. Boy, daughter, you are magic! You're magic! Ooh, he loved him some good Shakespeare. He also loved old reruns of Star Trek.
Spock, I think we are banished from the planet.
But she got it. A little girl got it. And she didn't have to say anything. She left the village. And as she was leaving, the cook, who loved her so much like a daughter, I don't think it was anything, anyway, gave her a basket of food, and the bread was still hot. And she walked a while, and she came to the scary dark forest too. It was scary. It was a lot like, that story about Harry Potter, when he goes into the forest and there's that guy with the name that we're not supposed to say, kind of scary. And she was walking and she was kind of crying. And all of a sudden, she came across a little old lady. Splash. And the little old lady was very hungry. She had been in the forest all day and had not found any food when she saw the basket. And the little girl was hungry. But you have to remember that whole thing about the compassion. And she said, and the little old lady, she wanted to say something. She was hungry. But the protein went directly into her head. And she could kind of center herself. And she looked at the little girl and she said, little girl. She's a little like Stevie Wonder. Why are you here in the forest all alone? And the little girl, the whole vanishing part. And the little old lady got mad. I mean, she got woman mad. And she said, I banish it, the soul from the kingdom! And she took the little girl's hand and they got a rocky cottage on the edge of the forest, all taxes paid. Now, back here at the kingdom, nobody noticed that the salt was gone. They were just going about their day. They kind of started to feel a little bad, a lot like February. And then they really kind of, didn't feel very well. Stiff and sinus infections. And then here's the sad part. The animals were also getting sick. Some of them died. Lassie wasn't very safe. And the old king, remember the old king? What the hell they say? You're not getting any younger, Jane. You're not getting any younger, king. He was getting older. And he was, in fact, dying. And they brought him into his bedchamber. And they laid him on his bed. It was a huge bed. King size. And he had a sheet, and then he had another sheet, and then he had a third sheet in case the other two got dirty, and then he had a blanket, and he had a duvet, and then he had a comforter, and then he had this bed skirt that kind of sorted didn't match, and then he had 31, 42 pillows here, so he couldn't lay like this, he had to lay like this, and it was like Pottery Barn gone mad. And he just lay there, and he had no salt. He was like a pillar of salt with no salt. Now, back over here in the village, or at the cottage, the little girl knew something was up. She was an intuitive. She had like an intuition. She was like that kid from Sixth Sense, you know? And she knew something was going on over there. And she said, little old lady, I must go. And the little old lady said, no. And she said, yes, I must. And the little old lady grabbed her foot and she said, no, little old lady, I must go. Something is wrong. And I know you're a sorceress. You talk. And she ran to the forest. She was very important. And she was fast. She was like America. And she got to the kingdom. And she ran into the bedroom. And at first she couldn't find her dad because of all that stuff. And then he coughed and she saw the blankets go up. And she said, Father, I'm home! And the father said, daughter, I realize you loved me the most. You loved me as much as salt. And they hugged and she got rid of all those pillows and could lay down. And the little old lady, she was evolved, you know, so, and she was a sorceress. So she put the salt back into the kingdom and everybody got better. And the king was better and was happy. And the daughters were better and were happy. And the peasants were better and they danced. And the farmers danced. And the maidens danced and got their maiden forms back. And the children danced. And the teens. And the wheat was happy. And the soybeans were happy. And why do I tell this story? Why do I tell this story? I tell you the story because I think salt is like art. It courses through our veins, and it's an essential element in keeping us alive. It sustains body, mind, soul, our heart. So, I've often wondered where in life's story, where in humankind, in the timeline of Homo sapiens sapien, where did art get second billing? And when did art become something that we did if we had a little extra money or extra time? When did it become extracurricular? Art motivates. And it creates confidence, self-esteem, and teamwork. It aids in concentration. It explores the humanities. It builds social and emotional development. It nurtures our creative instinct. Now, if there is good education, arts education, you're going to get strengthened verbal skills, you're going to get critical thinking and problem solving, and it develops higher brain function. Art also teaches compassion. It's something that I don't think our country quite understands, the power of compassion, and here we've got this great form to teach it. Art heals. I think of art like salt. It courses to our very being, and it's the catalyst that pulls all these synapses together. And it asks for us to be open-minded, and it provides a new way of seeing. Many ways, in fact, many views. Art is a decoder. And it pulls and enriches our society as a whole. In fact, the Indo-European translation of art means to fit together. So here we are, it's 2012, and I think our most important, precious, amazing, often forgotten natural resource is our children. And I mean all children. I don't mean just some children. In fact, I actually mean all people. So since when did art become something that only the wealthy or those with means could have? Why are they allowed to salt their life diets with art and a huge majority goes without? And why is art disappearing from the education system when it is the link for everything we want for our children, and in fact, everything we want for ourselves? So I think all learning is connected. In fact, it's a fact that it's all connected. Math is connected to science, and science is connected to the languages, and languages are connected to the social sciences, and social sciences are connected to reading, and reading is connected to art. It's one big circle. You pull one of those elements out, you don't have the connection anymore. As I like to say, the circle in a circle. So, I look at education minus art, and it creates what I call, I kind of term this myself, the Stepford child. This is the child that's unable to think outside of the box, and he's satisfied, he or she is satisfied with one answer. They're taught to lead, to follow, not lead. If you give them a challenge, they only come up with one answer. That's enough, isn't it? Now, education plus art, that equals the whole child. That equals the child that you give them a challenge, they come up with 57 different ways to do it, and they want to try all 57 ways. And that child, that whole, complete, creative child, becomes a whole, complete, creative adult. And that's the adult that's not scared to evolve, to grow. They look at being a student for the rest of their lives. They always want to be learning. So I also asked the question, at what point was it decided that, oh gosh, we can't do art anymore, we gotta go out and get that real job? The other great thing about art is it's multi-pathway to learning. So if a child can't learn this way, or an adult can't learn this way, they can try it this way, or this way, or this way, until they find their pathway, not just one pathway. So at Hopestone, where I work with my dear friend Chris Howard, who also works and teaches there, our vision is art for all. And for the past 30 years, I have watched arts education extracted from our schools. Art levels the playing field for children, and it ensures that the next generation, the next work field, is ready to take on these challenges. They are then problem solvers and critical thinkers, so that they can take the challenges of today, and Lord knows we have them, and the challenges of tomorrow that we don't even know what they are. So we have to level the playing field for everyone. Again, not a select few. So my belief is there's a drastic need not to let another generation go art-free. And our solution at Hopestone, and hopefully at other places, is to fight this war against the banishment of arts education, against the limiting and the rationing of art, to take away the word extracurricular and just make it curricular, to put it back into our curriculum. And I mean all children and all adults. I want to invite them back into the world of art. How? By reinfusing arts into the schools, the businesses, and the communities. I kind of see Hopestone right now as an outsourcing. We just want to create this army of artists, these master teachers. So what I'm saying is, here's the social science, second grade social science teacher, and she's being asked to teach music. Why? Her specialty is social sciences. Or the math teacher, his specialty or her specialty is math. I'm talking about the musician, and their specialty is music. And then they take this transformative material into our schools, into our communities, into our businesses. Our children need art. Adults, we need art. Our seniors need art. Our returning vets drastically need art. I think Wall Street needs art. I think corporate America needs art. We all know our politicians need art. And my vision is not to create artists, but to create citizens. So with this army of artists, we're going to send them out, as I said, with this transformative material, and we are going to create psychic change. The idea is to really, and it's going to take time, but we have to start now. And I have some questions I wanted to ask you guys. What are they? What if we all did art on a regular basis? What if everybody in this room, who can you raise your hand and say, I'm doing art on a regular basis? Amen. Okay? That's a third. I think 2/3 of you, hopefully, believe and know the power of it. And what if creativity and compassion played a role in our daily lives? Now, I have a question out there. Is there somebody who didn't raise their hand that wants to add art into their lives? free class card. You are there you go. Okay. Because art is everywhere. Like I said, art is like salt. It's everywhere. Like when I go into the restaurants and I look on the tables, every single table has salt. And at the end of the night, we have to make sure that it doesn't run out. We fill them. And when I go to other people's homes and look in their cupboards, which I always do, there's always salt. We cannot go salt-free, and we cannot go art-free. And art is not free. It costs. Because art is life, is salt, is art, is life, is salt, is art, is life, is salt, is art. Over the shoulder. Salt over the shoulder. Art over the shoulder. Salt over the shoulder. Art of the earth. Salt of the earth. Art of the earth. Salt of the earth. We all pray at the chapel of the arts. And I ask that we do not let another generation go art-free. Alleluia. Amen. Shalom. Namaste.